Hey everybody, Seven here, and I'm here with a game that I've had my eye on for quite a while. This is the joint platform one. So again, while I am a PC player, I play with a controller, and this is also available on consoles. Now, I was going to go into this game completely blind, but I did mess around with it for an hour or so, and I did survive a couple of days. This is another fairly open world, survival, crafting, etc. type of game, and the survival aspect of it is quite tough. Now, it is listed as a 1.0, meaning it is out of early access and it is no longer an alpha. It does, however, have a few hiccups, and we'll discuss as we go along. And I'm just going to go stock standard medium because I've played a few survival games here and there, so I'm not scared. Ish.
While running the desert marathon on the fourth day, you get caught in a sudden sandstorm right in between two checkpoints. Following the track becomes impossible, and you soon get lost in a cloud of dust and sand. Blinded by the wind, breathing with difficulty, the sun setting in a direction you can't tell, you start wondering if you'll make it alive, if you'll survive the desert.
Now, that intro part is very cool because it's supposedly loosely based on a real story where a guy was running a marathon and he got spun around in the desert and he ended up like having to find his way out of this crazy sandstorm while running a marathon. Okay, so it's got a really rudimentary tutorial, and it will give you some of the controls that you're supposed to be going through, but the controls are janky to say the least, and they're not able to be modified at all. So as per usual, you want to immediately pick up any sticks and rocks that you find along the way. That's just how survival games go. I think it requires you to drink first before it tells you what else to do. That up. Tools, knife. Now, like I said, controls are interesting. They're not customizable and they're not really intuitive to what you would consider other games would normally have. So you're not just going to pick up your controller and just assume how it's going to go. We got to get the cordage going first. Now, it's neat because this is a survival game that actually does have a story and has an end to it. And I always love the ones that have, some kind of win condition or some kind of actual way out. So it actually really reminds me of Stranded Deep a lot. And it actually does it just because of like the mechanics and the way that the gameplay is. Because the gameplay of it, if you've ever played Stranded Deep, you know that you have to have like a little save hut thing made out of, palm fronds and branches and stuff like that. So that's the only way you can save in this one as well. Also, when you die, there is no autosave in this. So when you die, you go back to wherever it was that your last little save location ended up being. So just like in Stranded Deep, your deaths and your failures and shortcomings have some pretty significant impact on what you're going to be able to do. And so right off the bat, the only thing you can see is this oasis. So it does give you some hand-holdy stuff in the early onset, but it then immediately drops you into the deep end, and go figure it out. Yeah, this is another game where a lot of games incorporate temperature into your survival aspects, but this one, the temperature can get pretty brutal pretty quick. But anyway, if you'll notice, you can actually see the sweat dripping down the screen, and it actually has little post-processing effects and stuff. Somebody really took the time on this. And then once you get to a source of water, you can use that to cool yourself down. Oh, it's a camel. And these little oases are also infinite sources of water too. Oh shoot, I forgot to. Yeah. Well, I know the prompt says to climb up there and get it, but if you cut it down, they'll actually. Oh wow, that one just actually fell on my head. But you can just cut the tree down and it'll be okay to harvest. Like you won't lose the fruit if you don't climb up first. Log into sticks, that's fine. We can just drop a couple of these. That's the thing. A lot of your harvesting is going to be manual. So you'll have logs that you'll actually physically chop into smaller sticks and stuff like that. You'll have the fronds you chop up into ropes and things. You'll have coconuts you actually have to physically smash open. Okay, we're getting way hot and we're actually starting to get hurt from it. Also in this one, there's no risk of like dysentery or anything like that. So any water source you come across is going to be perfectly safe. Which is great because the water sources are incredibly rare. That is a minor complaint that I have. It's when things aren't highlighted, like see right now I'm over the hammer. When you have the materials to make something, you can clearly see what's highlighted. When you don't have the materials for it, it's very hard to see where your icon is. So we've got a pick. I think we're going to want to get that quickly because the heat just gets absolutely out of control very quickly. I mean, you are in the middle of a desert. Let's get to the neat thing is the whole premise is you're running a race. You're from Earth, like you're a normal human being. You're from Earth, running a race and marathon in the middle of the desert. You kind of lose control of yourself, get lost, and then you find yourself here. And here is different. Let's get in the water so we can craft while we're getting cooled down. So a whole bunch of cordage, right? Down to equipment here. Get enough of this, we'll be able to make one. Let's throw that in the head. Another thing you could worry about is as you get hotter, your water does go quicker, which is a pretty standard survival type of thing. This one. This one, some of these really rudimentary ones you start off knowing, but finding the materials and resources for it can be very tricky. And this one doesn't even heal you. All it does is aids in a little extra heat protection, a little extra sun protection, so you just don't get quite as hot quite as quickly. Okay, so we gotta craft one of these markers here. What these do is there is no. Oh, we don't have the inventory. Right, great. Throw all of our logs on the ground. Fortunately, you can't like bulk drop so that all those would be in one nice little pile or whatever. You have to kind of drop each individual item. Yeah. like I said, the controls take quite a bit to get used to. Actually, let me just eat these dates just so it's one less thing that we're worried about. There we go. So the map is uncovered and cleared out as you progress through the game. So you don't ever have, like, there's no auto mapping. So what'll happen is you look at the map, you'll see exactly nothing. Once you start placing markers down, that's when you can start seeing where things are and where you are in relation to things. Now, ignore the press B to remove it. That, for whatever reason, doesn't appear to work. So you hit A on it, and you can move the little icon around. Once you actually set it, though, there is no pressing B to remove it. So that part is a little bit of a wonk on it. Now, there should be frogs. There we go. Did a little campfire right next to our little mapping icon here. I'm gonna try to make some rudimentary kind of a home here. And it does seem like this is supposed to be like your starting location. Oh, right. It's one of the shoulder buttons to actually place things. It's not like a bottom button to confirm or something like that. So, like I said, it does take getting used to. Neat thing is, you don't have to actually ignite anything. It does just automatically assume that you know how to start a fire, I guess. So once you just put sticks or logs or something like that, obviously wood logs will have a longer burn time than the sticks will, but just putting any kind of fuel in there will automatically start the fire up. And that's important for both cooking and for temperature regulation because just like a real desert, it gets insanely hot during the day, but it gets very, very cold out here at night. So sometimes you want to actually just start the fire just because, just so that you'll have some sort of heat generation going. All right, awesome. We got some food going here. And we just take the wood right out of there, and it'll be fine. It'll shut itself off. One more log and need some more cordage. That's fine. Now, another thing that I found out the hard way, a lot of, survival crafting type games, they have the the whole durability of your tools thing, where your axe won't last forever, pick won't last forever, etc. But most of the time, it comes with some sort of either a graphic or a numerical number, indicating what the durability left on your item is. This one, you're just going to be chopping along, and then just out of the blue, it's going to break. So you really have to have mental note of, how long you've had the thing, how much you've used it, you know, possibly having backups. Which, if you've noticed, the inventory is literally just this. It's the 6 slots in your belt and the 6 slots on your person. It did appear as though you could make a backpack at some point, but I have yet to, in my however many days I did survive, uncover however you are able to get that. Edge. I have a whole bunch of those because they're used in just about everything anyway. Then we'll snag one of these. This is where it really starts to getting into a lot like Stranded Deep, where if you die, okay, it's not like a game over kind of a thing, but you go back to the position that you just last saved in, which could kind of soft lock you. In fact, as I was playing Stranded Deep, I did soft lock myself a couple of times where I was unable to progress because I simply saved myself in a spot where there was no coming back from. Craft a hammer. Out of cordage again. I don't think this one has any like tree injury. I mean, those coconuts hit me right in the head, and I didn't take any damage from it, so I'm assuming we'll be okay with that. The other thing is, it does get very dark here, and I hadn't found any light source. Alright, so we'll get our hammer started up here. And that's how here is a little different. Whatever planet we're on is surrounded with this small, relatively normal looking size moon, and also this huge moon over here. And it's going to get weirder. Oh, crap. See, again, the controls on this are very, very weird. A lot of times you'll hit what would traditionally be considered like the back button or the cancel button or something like that, and you'll end up like completely dropping something on the floor, which could be a very useful or important item. So I'm actually going to dismantle that into the cordage and the stones, because the cordage and the stones is going to be more important for me anyway. In fact, we'll eat this just because we're a little bit hungry, and it'll also free up an inventory slot. The inventory management is one of the hardest things I've had to come to terms with while playing this game so far. Okay, so again, controls are iffy. You know, let's wait until this in the daylight. It has these very interesting, like every time you go to sleep, there's a new load screen. Sometimes there's poems, sometimes there's observations about your situation. So here it's not okay, so it's green. Okay, now it's telling me that I don't have the stuff for it. Wow, I am way thirsty actually. Holy crap. Hell, oh frick, where the hell did my hammer go? This is what I was talking about, where you think that you're just going to cancel out of something and you end up dropping it. There we are. Okay, so we don't have the planks. Let's split up some of our logs into some planks here. Yeah, and then again, I went to go cancel it and I ended up throwing it instead. Now, I am a little confused as to why it's letting me place it there now when it didn't just a second ago. But I'm going to try to get a whole bunch more logs, maybe get just a little bit of a foundation put out here, and maybe get a place for some storage as well. Because I don't like just leaving crap all over the floor here. What are the logs? Okay, apparently we're out of... Drop the hammer. Frog? Getting things to snap together is a bit of a trick as well. Even though I know I want it up higher, it sometimes won't. There we go. Okay, what are we out of? More planks. And see, that's the problem with the whole dropping mechanic, is because you can actually get yourself into some serious trouble, because if I don't have the materials to make one, which I don't think I do, it means that I'll have to sacrifice something else. Yeah, see, I'm out of sticks. Now, if I had an axe, I could take the logs and smash them up, but because all I have is a pickaxe, I can't do that yet. Unless I got really crazy lucky and... Well, can I make a knife? Alright, so if I can get a knife, I might be able to slash open some yucca, and then I might be able to get some sticks out of it. Okay, so I think maybe crisis averted. Oh, now we're out of rocks. Let's get cooled off and we'll look around to pick some rocks. Now, that little ore deposit that it sent me to over here, these do respawn eventually, but they take a little bit. Alright, now I can make my axe back. No clue where the first one went, but maybe it'll turn up at some point. Now, there is a whole world of story to this thing, and I actually haven't uncovered hardly any of it. I've wandered a few really terrifying little encampment type things out there, but for the most part, I haven't really uncovered any sort of like, what am I supposed to do kind of stuff. So I'm hoping that as I go along, I'll start to be able to find some of that. The other thing is, the food and water situation is pretty dire. Um, they go they go quick. However, on the upside, there's no spoilage in this. So all the little meat guys here that you pick up, all the frogs that you end up killing, they won't they won't ever go bad. So you don't need like a refrigerator and a generator and all sorts of weird stuff like that. I'm hoping that'll stack in there. Oh, outstanding. Great, great, great. And I had that green a second ago. What happened to it? Okay, so I might have to make do with this just as is. Gotta get some walls going here. Another kind of awkward thing, it doesn't really tell you what it is that you need for these until you don't have what you need. So, 2 logs, 4 fronds. Oh my god, with the frickin' dropping! Oh hey, I lost some dates down here. Whatever, none of this time. Oh, more of the fronds. Okay. Now, the whole dropping thing is something that they've been kind of aware of. It's not a small thing that I've seen in forums where people are like, "Why am I constantly dropping things?" or "Why is this happening?" So even though it's got the 1.0 label on it, I get the impression that they're constantly working on it and constantly making improvements to it. Put a window in. Out of logs. Oh, nice. We got seeds. I gotta put these somewhere safe. There we go. Okay. Nothing bad should happen to that. Um, there is storage that you can build. In fact, I'm gonna want to get that storage going sooner than later. You can get a little planter box, and you can actually regrow your own trees, and they'll grow faster than they will respawn just in the wild. Because all these trees that I'm chopping down, they will respawn, but it takes them quite a bit of time. Really, all I'd really like to do is get a house established here, maybe get a storage thing down, and that should be it just for, just for the opening series here. And then maybe in another episode we'll start getting things actually moving. Out of Franz, it looks like, I guess. Although we're out of pretty much everything. That's fine, we're just gonna clear cut. Like I said, most of this stuff comes back anyway, and once I get the house established, the need for wood is gonna be kind of negligible anyway. does sometimes get a little hard to tell what's this yucca and what's the just generic bushes around. So what you can and can't have as far as resource gathering goes. Can't get a roof on this place. Then maybe call it a night. Thanks. Okay. We're gonna need to drop some more stuff here. All right. Well, I know you can barely see it, but we've got the startings of a little bit of a house here. Got our save spot. You can actually make yourself an actual bed, so you can use a real bed to sleep and use as a save spot and stuff like that. Get a little bit of meat cooking here. But anyway, I'm gonna call it here. Try to get some sleep, and I definitely hope that I see you again in the next one as we start to actually explore this world and we see some of the absolutely bizarre things that are out there. Again, I've only just barely scratched the surface myself, so there's only a handful of things that I've seen, and this place is huge from what I understand. I haven't really done any spoilers for myself, and I'm going to try to maybe avoid some spoilers for everybody else. But this this place gets weird in a hurry. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this, and I hope to see you in the next one. This is Seven. Bye.